when you get down 11 like we did and you had to fight back from behind, it's an uphill battle. But we got fighters. We got guys that are competitive, and I thought they did a really, really good job of staying in there. But we had so many lows offensively where we couldn't score, and then we had opportunities where we couldn't defend and couldn't guard them and couldn't keep them in front of us. So we was on our heels all night defensively. And Nebraska's a good team. They're a good team, and they're long. They got deceptive length and athleticism, and they cover up gaps really, really fast. So they're a good basketball team, but we're a young, inexperienced basketball team, and we're going to continue to grow and get better.
How do you think the offensive goals were coming tonight?
Well, part of it is if we can't get Frankie going early, he is the leader of our basketball team right now, and he kind of struggled a little bit early to get some shots, but he's in a situation where he's never been before, where he's the key person on a scouting report, and he was able to get by last year without being the key person on a scouting report. So he got to learn how to navigate through that, and we'll teach him. He'll be fine.
What did they do to guard him well? What were they doing?
Well, it just made it hard. One, they made it hard for him to catch it, and then when he did catch it, they kind of crowded him and used their length and their athleticism.
You mentioned that opening run, that 11-0 run, but your team responding later with an 11-0 run of their own. Just how much did you appreciate seeing that?
It was good to see because, as you know, we have a young basketball team, and we have two guys that have played Division I basketball. So when you go on a road and you have guys that can fight and get their heads up in a situation like that, it's kind of refreshing, and it gives me hope that they're going to become a good basketball team because they're fighters.
Bunch of guys in foul trouble tonight. 28 fouls altogether. Why does that happen when it happens?
Well, a lot of it is we just wasn't ready to compete on the ball, and we got a lot of work to do defensively. And but their athleticism is a little deceptive, and they're quicker than you think. I think Greasel off the bounce going right, really, really deceptive. He knows how to draw fouls, and he's big. He's a big, strong guard, and if that's what we got to face in the Summit, we got to get ready.
First two games for your team, obviously a really young, inexperienced team, and also your first two games as a D1 head coach, and you go to Allen Fieldhouse, and then you come here later in the week. Obviously, what can you take as a coach, and what can you take from your team that can be used, throughout the season, and as you prepare for the Summit, going to two tough environments like this right out the gate?
Well, probably, I think, try to slow the game down a little bit, make sure we get good possessions. Probably should have maxed out one or two of my timeouts right there in the second half when they went on that run I think they got to about 16 in the second half. I should have used a timeout, but the media was coming right afterwards at that 8-minute mark, and I knew I didn't want to do it. But it's tough to take a mid-major team on the road in these environments. Especially when you go to a place like Allen Fieldhouse. It's intimidating for one, and you come to a place like this, and they get off to a great start shooting the basketball like they did, and with a young, inexperienced team. But we'll grow through that. We'll grow through it, and I'll grow through it as a head coach.
Fouls start mounting up like that for a bunch of your top guys. How do you manage that?
It's hard. You got to go to that bench and go deep in your bench, and we played 10 guys tonight, which we was going to play 10 guys anyway. But when you get your interior guys get those fouls early, we're not as big, we're not as physical, and when you don't have Candy Brown, you don't have no Dylan Braun in there, then we're a really small team. Now Markel Sutton is forced to guard a 6'11" guy. He's not ready to do that yet.
How would you evaluate Nebraska and Kansas physicality-wise? What's the jump up between the Summit and teams like that?
Well, obviously Kansas is bigger at every position, and Nebraska is big. They're physical also. I mean, you look at Greasel out there; he's 6'7", he's big and 220 pounds, and he's a lot bigger than you think he is when you get up on him. But of course, Gary is a long, agile athlete. I mean, I just think you can't. I don't think you can simulate the athleticism and the length in practice. I mean, we have some length, but not like they have.
What do you hope your guys take away from these first two games?
I think I just told them in the locker room, like, I like the way they competed. I like the way they continue to fight. But I told them we got a lot of work to do defensively. We got to get a lot better defensively, and especially in our man-to-man defense. But I told them to keep their heads up. I mean, this is a game that we're going to learn and grow. And I told them we have a team that I really believe that is going to get better every game out. Every game out, I think we're going to get better.
Guys like Jaden and Markel having success against high major opponents, what can they do to build off that? What kind of confidence booster is that?
Well, it should give them a lot of confidence, but no, we still need to get Frankie going, and we need Jaden to score for us. We're going to need Markel to make plays for us around the basket still, and he did a good job tonight. And we need J.J. White to be better, but we got to get Frankie going, and he got to work harder to get shots. I mean, he's just going to have to work harder because people are giving him a lot of focus and a lot of attention right now.
How does those guys need to be better? Sure. Being in foul trouble, how does that sort of throw off their rhythm?
Well, it disrupts your lineups, and you got lineups on the floor, and sometimes guys don't quite know situational basketball, who's going to score in these situations. And I do think our shot selection was a lot better tonight than it was in Lawrence. And so that's a positive. We got better in that area. Still got to cut down on our turnovers. Yeah, 16 tonight, which is too many to be on the road. But there's a lot of positives, still a lot of positives that we'll take out of here and try to get better for Sunday.